Satan cured my cancer. Now I wish I was dead. Part 1. By RichardSaxon. Pain can drive us to make stupid decisions, but what I did was advanced stupidity. Satan first presented himself on my deathbed. For years I had been suffering from an incurable cancer, and very soon I would succumb to the disease at the ripe old age of 42. There I lied under fluorescent light beaming down on my tired face, when what looked to be like an elderly man materialized in front of me. He looked like a gentle, well-dressed man, and he had such a sweet voice, I was immediately put under his charming spell. "You don't look too good, my friend. Are you in pain?" Being heavily sedated, I did not have the capability to question what had just happened. "Who are you? A concerned third party? Well, no, you actually know who I am." He was right. Despite his absolutely normal appearance, I knew it was the devil himself who stood at my bedside. My sole guest at that wretched hospital. "Why are you here? I didn't do anything wrong," I asked. "Well, of course you didn't. People need to stop thinking I'm only here to punish. I'm simply here to help you." I saw genuine concern in his eyes as he said that. He put his hand on my shoulder and leaned in closer. "What if I could let you keep living?" He knew he had my interest, anything to be rid of this pain. But what would that price be? "In fact, I'll give you a choice. You've led an extraordinary average life, and you've done little bad, but also little good. It kind of evens out in the most insignificant way." He paused, allowing me to process. "So, I could kill you now, quickly and peacefully, and let God put his judgment upon you, or what? Or I could cure you and let you live." "Just like that?" "Well, there's always a catch for such a gift, but I wouldn't ask too much of you." I thought about his offer, but would not allow him to take too much advantage, so I stared at him without responding. "All right. So all I would want in return are some of your memories. Let's put it like this. For each year of your life, you will forget exactly one thing." It sounded absolutely ridiculous. Certainly he would take the good and leave the bad. I knew then I would refuse this offer. But before you answer, I'm not going to take all your good memories. That would be insanely unfair. I'll simply leave it to chance. It could be as simple as forgetting how to say cheese or how to fold shirts. But once you've forgotten, you can never remember. So, random memories. Yes, and only one per year. Speaking was a painful feat. Despite my medication, I was in constant pain. The devil stared at me with his friendly eyes, now stretching out his hand, longing for a handshake. I thought briefly before accepting the offer. Clearly, I was an idiot. As soon as I shook his hand, he wished me good luck on my journey and vanished before my eyes. Had it all been a weird hallucination? No. The doctors thought it was a miracle. Someone recovering from a stage 4 cancer within days is unheard of, completely healthy. The more skeptical ones said that it was a misdiagnosis in the first place, but they were still confused as to how I recovered. No matter what the cause, I was able to go to the home within a week. A second chance at life. And that time, I would get it right. No more sitting around, passively waiting for something to happen. The first year was over in a flash, and on the anniversary of my deal with the devil, I lost my first memory. I could no longer properly boil an egg. No matter how many times I tried, it would come out either raw or boiled to pieces. I chuckled to myself, as it was a loss I could quickly adapt to, frying eggs from that day on instead. Still a pretty good breakfast. So the years went by. I started working again at a tech company, seeing as I had history with programming before my disease. I even started dating, a tricky situation after being divorced for years, but life was good. I was slightly worried for each year around the time of the anniversary, and nothing much changed. Just to mention a few, I forgot the lyrics to Who Let the Dogs Out, which I'm told is extremely strange, considering I remember the title of the song. I forgot how to change a tire, and then my girlfriend's name. An awkward situation, to say the least. We broke up fairly quickly after that. In addition, I have some blank spaces in my memory. I'm assuming I've lost the memory of a few events, but nothing to feel upset about, save for my dad's funeral. I can remember there being a funeral, I just can't recall anything about it, even though I allegedly attended it. Life is strange, even before my disease and even after my deal with the Satan, but nonetheless, I was generally happy. I lived in peace and enjoyed each day for 10 years, a decade of my life. And I no longer felt worried about Remembrance Day, an ironic name I had come up with. On the 10th year, as if with each year, a memory was stolen. I had forgotten how to feel happy. When I woke up that morning, I felt different. Of course, I still had memories of happiness. The concept was known to me, but I could no longer remember how to experience the actual emotion. That first cup of coffee in the morning no longer brought me any joy. The warm sunshine on my skin didn't bring comfort, and the jokes in the newspaper no longer supplied any laughs, if they ever actually did. According to Paul Ekman, there are 6 basic emotions: anger, disgust, sadness, surprise, fear, and happiness. Without the last, there's not much left to enjoy. A horrible mix of sadness and fear filled me from the second I realized what had happened. So I tried everything I could think of on God's green earth that could resemble joy. I'm not particularly proud of what I did. Drugs, hookers, adrenaline-producing activities, not always legal. Took part in some fights which did not end well for me. Nothing worked. The anhedonia quickly wore me out, and only a few months later I was on the brink of ending my own life. I needed some liquid courage, or at least as much as I could stomach. Alcohol was never really my vice. I put the barrel of the gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger without hesitation. The gun jammed. It occurred to me that I might have made a huge mistake making that deal. I tried for a year to kill myself in various different ways. I attempted stabbing myself, but the blade was inexplicably so old it simply broke. Even a car crash wouldn't kill me. Somehow I always escaped unscathed. Jumping from tall buildings, drinking acids, overdoses, you name it. I've tried it. Nothing works. Eventually, Remembrance Day came around again, but this time instead of losing a memory, I had an unexpected visitor. "Would you please stop trying to kill yourself?" a familiar voice said. I was jolted awake from my alcohol and drug-induced sleep, panicking at having someone in my room. It was Satan, still in the same suit, not having aged a single day. Like last time, he had simply materialized, but now inside my bedroom. "You piece of shit! You stole my happiness!" I yelled at him. He gestured me to calm down. Now we made a deal. I take a random memory, I don't choose which one. Isn't happiness supposed to be all about chemicals in your brain anyway? "This isn't exactly what I expected when I agreed to our deal." I snarked back at him. "People never do. That's why it's always so easy for me to get what I want." He smiled at me, a sinister look across his stupid face. "Seriously though, stop trying to commit suicide. It's a real big hassle preventing it." "So you're the one preventing me from dying." "Well, yeah, I told you I would let you keep living. We never discussed how long, so I took a few liberties with the contract." We stared at each other in silence for a few moments. I was trying to find a way out of this mess, but he was clearly experiencing this sort of crap. "Do you happen to have some coffee? I really like to drink a good old cup of Joe in the morning." "Are you serious?" "Always. Come on, let's talk." He stretched his hand toward the kitchen. I put on a top of coffee while Satan made himself at home, sitting by the kitchen table and reading the newspaper. "Ha! Chain collision on the highway last night. I knew it would be a fun time to renew that old guy's little driving license. He mumbled. What was that? Nothing. Is that coffee ready yet? I poured us both a cup and sat down with him. He inhaled the aroma, really exaggerating his enjoyment of the smell. Then he proceeded to sip the coffee, not addressing the reason why he was there. So why are you here? He took a break from his coffee and looked at me, still smiling joyfully. You want to kill yourself, is that right? Shortly after I saved your life? Not much point in my current state, is it? Maybe not. So what? What do you want? Ah, yes, the New Deal. He was ecstatic, standing up from the table and walking around the room. You see, I'm a collector of sorts. Things even I can't create are fascinating to me. Things such as your memories. He paused for a moment, being mildly fascinated and distracted by a painting on my wall. The thing is, I have so many deals going around, and I take different things from different people. Memories from you, knowledge from my good friend Steve, and dreams from that guy who thinks he has a fatal insomnia hair. What an idiot is he. But, well, you get the point. He waited for me to respond. I could see his excitement in his eyes. What do you need from me, then? I'm glad you asked. You see, I have all these employees. Some people call them demons, but whatever. Yes, go on. The problem is that there are stupid rules I have to follow, and people keep finding a way to take advantage of these rules, keeping me away and so on. Now, since you are a human, you don't really have to follow those rules. I'm guessing you want me to collect stuff for you, I interrupted. Ah, not such an idiot after all. Yes, that is exactly what I need. I would give you the tools necessary for such a job. And in return, do I get my happiness back? No. Then why would I help you then? Because if you do, I'll stop interfering with your suicide attempts. He reached out his hand for a handshake. Allowing me to die was the most merciful thing Satan would ever do. So I shook it. Good luck! He smiled and then vanished into thin air once more. All he left behind was a box labeled Collection Kit number 8402.